Welcome to Collecting Chaos. Today we're going to do a half box. Instead of doing a full box of comics, I pulled out a box of my Marvel comics, and we're going to run through half of it because I really don't want to go through 100 and some comics. So I pulled out about half and we'll go through those. I probably should have started with the going in alphabetical order with them, but I just grabbed some S's and we'll go. Information that I give during this video, I got from here. That's how valuable this is. If you're new to collecting, I highly recommend you pick up the new one or an older one if you're more interested in the older comics, just for the information it has. You can forget about the prices. The prices change from day to day. Although on the older comics, they're still pretty accurate. That being said, if you want to see what comics I pulled out, keep watching. Okay, what we're going to start with is Strike Force Morituri. This is issue number 25. The Strike Force Morituri, however you pronounce it, went from 1986 to 1989 for 31 issues. I have 2 copies of number 25. They're in really nice shape. They're newsstand. Next, number 26. Also have 2 copies of that, really nice shape and newsstand. Number 27, 2 copies. Let's take a look at this. Nice, beautiful white pages, nice little pin up there. I actually kind of liked this series. Too bad I don't have them all. Well, actually I might have them all, I don't know. Half of them are probably in another box. Here's number 28. 2 copies. And I have multiple copies of most of the comics that I'm going to show you today. All of these comics were published that I'm showing today were published between 1986 and 2000. Here's a number 29, 2 copies. Number 30, 2 copies, direct market. This is the first direct market for this that I'm showing. And the last issue, number 31, which is also direct market. Next up we have Strike Force Morituri Electric Undertow. This is number 2. This was published between 1989 and 1990. There are 5 issues. Here's number 3. And number 5. The next one surprised me a little bit because when I looked it up in the price guide, it was actually worth something, and I didn't expect it to be. Sunfire and Big Hero 6, number 1. This was published, this series was published between 1980 or 1998. It went 3 issues. And I have 2 copies. Overstreet had this at about $60 in a 9.0. Or is that a 9.2? 9.2. I know. Send them in and get them graded. I don't do that. I have nothing against graded comics. I own a few. But I don't send mine in. There's number 2. And number 3. I got these when I had a store, so I paid less than cover price for each of them. Next up, I have Supernaturals. This was published in 1998. There were 4 issues. 4. They came with a mask. And if they don't have the mask in it, you might as well just say it's not worth anything. Because in order to get the mask out, you pretty much had to take the comic book apart. And I have 2 of number 1, 1 of number 2, with the Ghost Rider mask, and 2 of number 3. That one has the same as the number 1 did. That one has Werewolf by Night. Next up, Sword of Solomon Kane. This was published in 1986 for 6 issues. 86-87. And number 2. All of these are in pretty nice shape. Matter of fact, all of the comics I'm showing today are in pretty nice shape. This one doesn't appear to have any creases, nice sharp cover, off-white pages. So why would I say it's very fine? Look how much the cover is shifted over. Yes, that's a problem for the printing, but it's just, no, it's not mint to me. It's maybe very fine to near mint, maybe. Here's number 4. Number 5, cover centering used to be a lot more important than it seems to be nowadays. Of course, the covers are centered on most comics now. But even when you go back into the older comics, they don't pay as much attention to the cover centering as they used to back in the 70s and 80s when I was collecting then. Next, Swords of the Swashbucklers, number 1. This went for 12 issues in 1985 to 1987. Jackson Goosey is the artist. I'd like to have that whole run. All I've got is the first 2 issues. It just looks interesting to me. I've never read it because all I've ever had was the first 2 issues. Next up, the worst comic in the collection as far as condition goes. It's got like a coffee stain or something. Not mine. Got an braided corner. It's got a lot of spine stress. This is obviously a comic that's been read over and over and over again. Tales of G.I. Joe went from 1988 to 1989 for 15 issues. Herb Trimpe did the penciling, what I consider a very underrated artist. But he did Hulk for many, many years. Tales of G.I. Joe number 2. Don Perlin did the artwork in this one. Tales of G.I. Joe number 4, number 4, number 4, number 4, number 4, number 4, number 4. I bought a collection, okay? Obviously it was a collection of Tales of G.I. Joe number 4. Herb Trimpe did the plot and the art in this one. You don't often see him getting plot credit. Then we have number 5, and number 5, and number 5, and number 5, number 5, number 5, number 5, number 5, and number 5. Okay, it was a collection of Tales of G.I. Joe 4 and 5. Don Perlin pencils. Larry Hama did the scripts. If you remember right, I believe Larry Hama did a lot of the scripts for the Marvel Star Wars series. I might be wrong about that. That fact came off memory. Here's Tales of G.I. Joe number 6. And this is from, who did it? Herb Trimpe, plot and penciler. Or it might be Herb Trimpe, but I always said it as Trimpe. I don't know why. Tales of G.I. Joe number 7, number 7, and number 7. Herb Trimpe. I think the name is Trimpe. I don't know why I started calling it Trimpe. And my camera shut down. That's why I just kind of abruptly cut off on 7. Here's Tales of G.I. Joe number 8. 3 copies of it. I also took that as a sign that I should probably eat something. So I did. Herb Trimpe, script and art. So not just plotting credits, but scripting as well. Here's number 9. Mike Vosberg pencils. Chickstone inked. And about 3 copies of number 10. More Mike Vosberg, but this time Larry Hama does the scripting. Number 11. Number 13. And apparently I think I'm missing number 3 and number 12. Number 14. And number 15. Let me go back here and take a look. Yes, I'm missing number 3 and number 12. Well, that's half of the box, and I think that's a good place to stop. We'll do the other half of the box in an upcoming video. Maybe in the next video. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. In the meantime, don't forget, before you handle your comics, before you handle your collectibles, before you handle your toys, wash your hands. Good for your comics, good for your toys, good for your collectibles, and of course, it's good for your health. And with that, we'll see you in the next video, or part 2, whichever comes first. Bye.